We work with the Spanish practice SalgasCano, who are very much interested in the relationship between their buildings and the surrounding. They're very interested how people move through space, how people use, let's say, a city, how they use a park. And I think this idea of the park has been very, very present. You know, how you walk underneath trees, you have shadows, you have a certain light filter. You then come around a path, you have a surprise. So this idea to somehow translate this into a kind of a myriad of corridors and pathways and views, that was something that they're very keen on, and experimenting with materials and using the light, the different shades of light as a way to construct space. Well, it's very much the mission of the Pavilion project is to invite an audience, and it is a vast audience, to really go and experiment with architecture, to experience it, to come in, to test it, to spend time in it, to maybe have a coffee in it. And we very much believe it's part of the educational mission of the Serpentine Galleries, is to really introduce new architecture or architecture practices that have not been very visible in the UK today, to a wider audience, and to an audience who is maybe not used to architecture, looking at architecture. So that's why the Pavilion lends itself as a model to really have an experience.
SalgasCano, the Madrid practice, are extraordinary. They are exuberant, playful, they embrace materials of all kinds, and as you can see, even on this dark day or dull day, their pavilion sort of shines out, is sort of sparkling in this rather overcast sky. I think what's so fascinating about what they've done is that there are very many different ways to kind of orientate yourself around the pavilion. You've got the 4 tentacles that stretch out onto the lawn. You've got an inner skin that you can walk through, but also one of the great successes of the pavilion is how you can look at it from the outside and outside in and inside out, and you get the park framed in very, very different ways. I mean, we are one of the most beautiful parks in the world, and to really not just accept it, oh, here we are again, but to look at it with fresh eyes is, I think, what SalgasCano do, and that is a cause of great celebration. One of the things that we've learnt about the pavilion is that people are not scared of it anyway. The public inhabit the pavilion from the first moment they can. They come in, they move the furniture around, they sit down, they make themselves at home. They have lunches here, they organise their own dinner parties here. It's a very different kind of dynamic to that of entering an art gallery, which is kind of, for some reason, people seem to take more seriously, they're more cautious about it. Whereas this structure, there are no doors, there's nothing to prevent people coming in, and they embrace it. It's theirs. It's really the public space. It's a kind of town square. It's a meeting point for people, and that's something to be celebrated, and people do.